Welcome to Mydbops Open Source Database Meetup 15 recorded live in Bangalore. Mydbops excels in open source database management, offering tailored solutions for MySQL, Postgres, MongoDB, TiDB, Cassandra, and more. Mydbops organizes meetups to facilitate knowledge sharing, networking, and collaboration among professionals in the field of open source database management. And now we are excited to share Manosh Malai's presentation on mastering MongoDB Atlas, Essentials of Diagnostics and Debugging in the Cloud. Manosh Malai, Mydbops CTO, brings over 15 years of MongoDB expertise, having delivered numerous talks at meetups and conferences. As the Bangalore MongoDB user group leader, he is recognized for prompt engineering solutions and a visionary approach, making significant contributions to the technology landscape. Let's delve into the essentials of MongoDB Atlas Diagnostics and Debugging to ensure optimal cloud database performance.
Today's talk is mastering MongoDB Atlas, particularly how we are going to debug the performance issue in the cloud era. So this is not a disclaimer kind of thing. This is not how we are going to spin instances and those things. So this is about how we can use the data which is provided by the cloud provider and how we can understand the performance problem and how we can troubleshoot the issue. So it is the perspective of this talk. So this is about me. Manosh Malai, as Sandanam told, I'm heading MongoDB as well as DevOps, SRE, SecOps practices in Mydbops. I'm also a MongoDB Mug leader, Bangalore. You guys know a little bit about Mydbops. I like to take an opportunity to tell what is Mydbops. Mydbops is a database support company. We are helping our clients to manage their databases in two vertical like consulting and managed services. We are focusing on MySQL, MongoDB, Postgres, TiDB, and Cassandra. So this is the introduction or agenda of the talk today. So first we are going for introduction, and I hope, can I know anyone from Atlas background or MongoDB background? Can you raise your hand, please? Oh, then it is so cool. Thanks. So first we are going to understand basic things about Atlas and understand the diagnostics in MongoDB Atlas and how we are going to debug using the data which is provided. I like MongoDB very much, not in the enterprise perspective. I'm also an open source guy, but Atlas as a development platform, right? It's a really wonderful software tool they have evolved in the industry. If you closely observe the Atlas progress rate, every step they are taking have a quite amount of background history for every step they are doing. So single platform is going to provide all the solution like database, OLTP, and archive, backup solution, vector, everything. It's really awesome developer platform. That's what they are stating. So this is particularly everyone I like to know why people are moving toward Atlas. Open source also have a good portion of NoSQL community, but people started to moving to Atlas too, to enable one database to achieve most of their problem, not putting a lot of database solution, complexing. So this thing can be carried out by MongoDB Atlas platform itself. As I say, so the key what we are going to see today is just a database. I'm not going to deep dive into search, stream, and vector. All my parameters of the discussion is going to be focused on database and its performance and debugging. So I hope few of us heard what is MongoDB Atlas, few already using MongoDB Atlas. I like one important thing about MongoDB Atlas is it's a multi-platform, multi-cloud provider, and multi-region also. The biggest advantage of MongoDB Atlas is you can create, you know it is a distributed database, right? So you can create a database in the multi-region itself. Multi-provider, multi-region. So you don't need to stick with one provider. You can create an Atlas account and you can select Azure, Google Cloud, and AWS. You can place one node on each cloud provider. So that kind of capability Atlas is providing. So you guys are, few people are familiar with Mongo. What is the disadvantage you guys are seeing here? MongoDB. MongoDB as a database, as an open source also. What is the disadvantage you guys are seeing? Anyone? Okay, advantage? Yeah, it is. What kind of disadvantage you are seeing? Oh, okay, misuse the flexible of schema he's talking. Though schema, it's like it's a seamless. So, but people are not understanding what inside it is. We are a MongoDB partner. Mydbops is a MongoDB enterprise partner. But we also have a good amount of portion of supporting community also. So both the things play suitable for everything. MongoDB is, as he said, it's bad, it's also good. But the thing is, how you till schema is important for any database. You cannot say Mongo is a schema-less database, but if you don't understand what your application is going to write in your database, then you are putting everything in like array or something subdocument, it will screw. So that is one important point. Particularly, what I'm trying to get here is, when you are installing Mongo in community version, it won't enable the authentication by default. The security layer of the Mongo is not enabled by default. That is one of the great advantage, and the lot of attack which is happening on Mongo is that primarily that data leakage last 6 months before also we have attack. It is not about MongoDB Atlas. Recently there is one incident happened at MongoDB Atlas is, there is few data exposed in MongoDB Atlas. I'm not talking about that one. I'm talking about people just simply installed the community version and started using, and that Mongo also exposed in the public port, public IPs. So that is the cause. So when you are choosing the MongoDB Atlas platform, by default it supports multi-region, multi-cloud, always on security, and performance advisor enabled. So hope you guys also are developers we have here. Anyone from developer background? So as a developer, if you have Atlas access, you can spin the instance without any DevOps or any support. You can spin. Automatically, this all security parameters will be enabled. You don't need to configure TLS. TLS is the level 4 protocol. And authentication layer, you don't need anyone's support. So this all will be enabled by default. This is the one good advantage, because MongoDB is open source have that problem. And who is very familiar with Mongo have one pain in community: backup. MongoDB is mean for huge data. That backup solution we don't have. We have PBM. Anyone using PBM? Percona backup solution. It is very good, but lot of bugs. Lot of bugs. We are trying to enable it, lot of our clients, but we are facing lot of problem. It is written in Go. It's very good, but we are facing lot of problems. So it's an enterprise, right? They are putting it open source and enabling enterprise in the Atlas. Atlas is giving a fully automated backup solution. And work isolation is also introduced in Atlas. You can have a separate archival node, and you can also have separate analytical node to do your analytical purpose, and also put it in the separate region. For an example, you have data in Mongo. Your CEO team or your VP teams are sitting in UK. You can spin an analytical instance in UK region, and you can point your analytical query, they can see the dashboard over there. So you don't need DevOps. You don't need any Mongo engineer. you can use the UI, you can spin and you can solve the problem. Automatically sync will be happen. It is not a MySQL kind of thing. You need to do some extra backup copy and something. So you can add a node, automatically it will be added into the replica set. The data will be synced. Once the sync is completed, application can start using it. And the connection string also very seamless over there. You can update the connection string in the application using some tags. Application will start using it. So what is the advantage here is, Atlas is projecting one important thing. They are not pointing DevOps. They are not relying on Mongo engineers. They are blindly marketing it as developer platform. They are trying to reach developers. They are not trying to enable another MongoDB administrator or another DevOps to use or help the application team to evolve using Mongo Atlas. They are encouraging developers to use the Atlas. That is the great work here. Before going for other agendas, I like to take to the Mongo Atlas UI. Maybe if you are familiar with this, because instead of talking, if you see some UI, whatever I'm going to tell, you can relate to the data in the mind. So we have organization structure here. You can create one Atlas account, and you can map your Atlas account with multiple organization. Under the multiple organization, you can have multiple projects. Under the multiple project, you can have shard, replica set, everything. So I have my project. Atlas UI is quite slow. Please stay with me. So I have two clusters. One is like M0. We call it M40 is a cluster one. To give more data to you guys, I'm using M40. So this is about performance problem solving and those things. I'm not going to deep dive how to use the UI. So you can see view monitoring here, right? I'm going to click it. So he also talked about RDS, Aurora, right? Aurora is quite mature product, quite mature. In the cloud era, Aurora is quite mature. Why I'm saying we are creating, Mydbops is creating own alerting system, own graphing system, everything. So we know more data, what it is giving, so we need to use very optimistly. So based on that understanding and the experience I'm telling, there are other cloud solutions need to enable what Aurora is, AWS is giving. In CloudWatch metrics, it is exposing more data to the user. They can capture and they can reuse it for their own purpose. But Atlas is not enabled till now. We need to rely on this one. So what I'm trying to say, if you have Atlas at your end, you need to view the monitoring graphs by your DevOps team or application team. They need to come to this UI separately. They cannot depend on Grafana. But there is a solution. We can do it. Even themselves, they are providing some limited of access. You can enable it. So you can see here, this is a 3-node replica. So basic understanding, replica is in master, secondary, primary, secondary kind of thing. In MySQL, you called, what do you call? Yeah, so here it's a distributed system. Driver will take care of everything. You don't need to tell this is the master now, it is going to be master next. No, it's automatically do that for you. So you don't need to worry about those things. So that is the biggest advantage. So election will be happen on this 3-node. It always know who is primary at the moment. It is a distributed system. Raft also here. Here also we are using Raft. So the Raft protocol will always know before sending the query. It will always update with the cluster architecture. Server side. Basically, the interesting is the wired protocol, what is using in the driver level. It's always trying to capture those data between the replica set or the shard inside that. It always know which is the primary. That is the wired protocol design inside that driver and the cluster level. It is always giving an echo between the cluster and here. Here it is not a multi-master concept. Mongo don't have multi-master. So master only accept the read, also write and read. Secondary will for read. So here master, you see, you in the multi-master concept, right? You can write you in any node which is in the cluster, but yeah, Cassandra. So here you need at least one master to get the write and distribute the write to the other nodes, right? So here, if I need to talk about consistency, there will be a write concern and every parameter will come into the picture. Here also we have read ahead log will be captured. There are different parameters we need to consider. So very simple, don't need to go into the complex conversation. So very simple. The thing is, here the master used to accept the write and share the write with the other secondaries. And we use the master for not for the lazy read. Lazy reads, we always need to use the secondaries. That is very simple. Yeah. We have a oplog in Mongo. Oplog, it will always sync between the secondaries. It will record the write statement in the oplog. Their secondary, right? The secondary will read the oplog based on the frequency. For here example, we have a TTL over there. For every 5 seconds, it will capture the oplog based on the data which is reside and apply into the database. Yes. That is the performance problem here. So if we have a write majority, it will do the write on the primary and it will wait other node. If it is a majority, 3 node replica set, 2 is a majority. So 2 node need to tell I finish my writes. If J true is there, J true means journal true. Journal true is there means it need to replicate in the write ahead log. So it will apply in the shared buffer, it applied in the journal, it applied in the disk. After 3 layer of commit happen, it will tell to the primary, I finish my write. Then it will tell to the driver, the write is completed. So write, if particularly this write majority we don't recommend. It's quite performance penalty things. MongoDB is not mean for that. Some application perspective, some particular collection you can enable based on the business purpose. But write majority, if you are enabling, it is very costly. It's up to how much aggressive write you are doing. It's quite deep. I will go a little deeper. We have a recovery log, which also capture from journal between that. It will store the recovery, and there is some human effort is needed to restore from recovery, because if you do aggressive write, there would be write contention will happen. The write contention will crash the Mongo and put the recent data into the recovery log, and human effort is needed to recover from the recovery log and restore it. If it's very simple. First, if I understand your question, I will tell what I understand. So I'm going to define my connection string like con equal to server1, server2, server3. The full replica set connection. If I'm not defining the full connection string, that node will not automatically add. So the beauty here is, in Atlas, even when client coming to us, we ask our client to use Route 53. You guys know, right? SRV records, service record for them. The service record automatically provides this information. When I add or remove, I don't need to update my application settings all the time. So this layer we can do patchwork to overcome that. So what I'm saying, if I have a Kubernetes kind of cluster, driver setting is updating, you can use the config things. But even though what we recommend, use Route 53 S3 records, SRV records to update the connection string over there. You will get one URL for that. So the one URL remap it to the how many replica set we are having, how many shots we are having, automatically provide the information. So this is the addition answer I'm giving. But what is your question is, you need to define the connection string, all the replica node inside that. So if you are not using Route 53, then we have to define all the Yes. In Atlas, they are using Route 53. So let's come to the subject. So this many, I'm not going to explain and bore you what are all the parameters. So these parameters having, guys, you don't believe, this is not enough to troubleshoot your Mongo. Very, very open. But it is far okay to understand the root problem at certain level. 70% you can use. So particularly, few guys are from MongoDB background, so I like to point out few metrics as you guys need to be very much focused. One is query targeting, another one is queue, another one is query, another one is query executor, and another one is connection, another one is cache activity. This is all about MongoDB matrices. These matrices will help you to point out the query performance issue in the Mongo. Basically, right, most of the things are relying on Atlas. Your major culprit will be query only. If developer write the query effectively with understanding the performance as well as the application, it is quite smooth. So to point out the query issue, you need to use this metric. Particularly, queue is also very important metric. Who is very familiar with Mongo, you guys know tickets. Write tickets, read tickets. So we don't expose the write ticket, read ticket metrics in Mongo, in Atlas, so we need to use queue. When we have 128 tickets in Mongo, that means 128 concurrent operation MongoDB can do. If it is hit, automatically queue will be spike. So they are not exposing the write ticket, they are exposing queue. That means when queue is exposed, that means you are reaching the 128 limits over there. You guys know hardware things, so that is a different story. So using these graphs, you can understand the matrices, understand how your cluster is performing, and those things. And you can also see performance advisor, which is they are trying to replace DBA. What DBA do every day? Backup and archival and query tuning and index recommendation, analyzing the schema, dropping the duplicate index, dropping the unused index, everything this will do. It will create an index. This machine created in morning, so you don't have anything here. So I have few important data I like to share in the slide. I will come to. So this will automatically find the query which is performing very slow, and automatically recommend the recommended index. Now, till now, it is okay, fine. The only lag is understanding the business logic. Maybe once they started to use AI, maybe they will come with that solution also. Because understanding the application write and read flow and the schema, you can easily recommend the right index, right? That is the one they are lacking. But performance advisor is a very good solution what Atlas is having. So you don't need to, if I'm a DBA, I need to take the log. I need to tell from this time to this time, what is the slow query you tell. I will find the top queries, everything, right? So you don't need anything here. You don't need Linux command to capture the slow queries. Everything will be given by performance advisor. Profiler. You guys know, I'm not sure about MySQL. MySQL have performance schema to capture all the slow queries, correct? Who is very familiar with PMM, they know we have a Quan. Quan will give the slow queries. In Mongo, it's very bad. Mongo record everything in the slow log, above 100 ms. Most of the culprit will be captured there. In some time, it is very hard to capture there also. You can use DB profiler option to tune to capture the query which is running below 100 ms. And that is called profiler. So what we are doing, I will compare the open source version and the Atlas version. You need to go to your system, I mean Mongo console, and you need to run a DB set profile, and you need to tell the level of granularity you need to capture. So basically, I'm capturing 100 ms query. Now I need to capture the query which is running 10 ms, 10 millisecond query. You can execute. This query profiler will capture this whole thing and show you, Manosh, why I need this? Anyone can judge why we need profiler kind of solution here. So basically, he is very right. So when you are executing a query, if you need to tune the query, you need to see doc examine, key examine, document end return, and how much time it is taking. These all things you need to show. Before all this thing, we have a term called query shape. Query shape. What do you mean by query shape? Every query have one shape. You have a value will be changed. For example, name equal to Manosh, name equal to Akash, name equal to Sandana. The query shape will be same, but the value is differ. Mongo, we don't have such solution by default to identify the particular query shape. In recent version of 4.4 we have, but that is also not good enough. So MyDBOps have our own solution of creating query shape, but Atlas having the one big advantage, you need to find a slow query, correct? Which query shape is creating more noise, how do you find? When name equal to Manosh, I'm getting result very quick. When name equal to Akash, the query result is very slow. So we need to the average of the query shape, Atlas profiler will give. The same query shape, when name equal to Manosh, it's perform good. When name equal to Akash, it's perform average. When name equal to Sandana, it's perform worse. So you need to find a query shape, then you need to understand why it is performing worst when it is using Sandana as a value. So we need a query shape. In PMM also, in Quan also, we have a query shape. We have a hash value. That hash value will tell this query shape is doing this thing. This is the biggest advantage of profiler. MyDBOps have our own solution, but not the same algorithm we are using. We created our own algorithm to determine the query shape in the open source version itself. So I hope now you guys understand Atlas things. I will go to my slide back. In MongoDB, it is very aggressive in logging by default. By default, it is very aggressive in logging. So people don't enable system profile aggressively. Only when the issue arises, we enable it. Same log file. Same log file. MySQL is quite, you have a historic path, right? Mongo is very recent and they need to evolve a lot, but they are focusing on AI solution and things. So maybe in future we can expect more improvement in that part. So this is what we see. This is what we saw in the things. So when you are enabling Atlas search solution, you can have a separate matrices related to search. Particularly, as I told, right, in same MongoDB system, you can enable Atlas search. So when you are enabling Atlas search, they use Apache usage. So that will consume more amount of memory. So you can see the performance of that matrices alone itself. So this all story I can sell live monitoring and functionality real-time view of database, key benefit, immediate visibility of, so limitation is I'm going to focus more. When you are going to enable monitoring solution, as a performance engineer, even application team member, what you record is data, granularity, and retention, correct? So that is very limited here. If you relax for one day, your data will be gone. The data granularity will be reduced. That is the one important problem Atlas monitoring solution have. So if issue happen, today you need to submit your RCA. If you leave for 48 hours, your granularity of the data will be gone. So for example, I go for a lot of client calls. We are working for one of the biggest telecom industry in India. They are keeping 5 minutes data. I'm telling them, we cannot use 5 minutes data to understand the problem. No, 5 minutes data is very good for solving the problem. They don't. So the understanding and the data granularity is very important to troubleshoot an issue. That is, you guys know Mongo FDDC? Anyone know? Mongo FDDC. Mongo FDDC is a wonderful solution which is have by Mongo itself. It's a kernel kind of thing, which capture 1 second data. So the final Astra is only FDDC for us. If something goes wrong, I'm not capturing in Grafana, I'm not capturing in the log, I'm not capturing in anything. MongoDB have a FDDC data, we pull the data and we put it in some solution and we will create a graph and we understand the problem. You can also explore Mongo FDDC. So it is open source. Enterprise, yeah, you need to raise a support team. They don't give access to their things. Yeah, it is an open source tool we have. Keyhole. Keyhole is a tool. You can read the FDDC data in the Grafana. Keyhole is a tool, which is also developed by MongoDB guy. He's also working on other projects. It's very interesting to understand the shardings. You guys familiar in sharding, but you don't have a right solution to capture the data or anything. You can also, I forgot the name of the project, but it is also very interesting. If you search MongoDB Keyhole FDDC, you have 2 blocks in MongoDB website. Mydbops also have blocks. You can get the link over there also. So as I said, Atlas store metric at varying granularity and the retention time. So very important thing, so premium monitoring granularity. M1, M0, M1, M5. They are not giving premium granularity. M20, M40, you have premium granularity. What do you mean by premium granularity? They are capturing data 1 minute interval. So this, instead of going here, so before that, this additional consideration we need to keep eye. As I say, M0, M2, M5, limited metrics. It is not recommended for production because after 7 days you are inactive, the machine also halt. So the recommended model of Atlas M10, M20, M30, M40 are the recommended model of Atlas nodes. This is the important metric I like to showcase you. So when you are going for a premium model, the metrics is start to capture every 10 seconds. After 8 hours, the 10-second metrics grouped into 1 minute. After 48 hours, the metric grouped into 5 minutes. After 48 hours, the metric grouped into 1 hour. After 63 days, the metric grouped into 1 day. So this is max. 48 hours, you need to finish your troubleshooting in Atlas. This is one important problem DBA need to understand here, if you are managing Atlas. But 1 day graph is for long. Who will use 1 day graph? No use of 1 day graph. Because I need to understand the data. The information is deep in devil, right? This is the solution we are enabling for our Atlas client. This is also given by MongoDB Atlas itself, but there is some background work we need to do there. So we can enable Prometheus to capture the log from Atlas API system. We don't have any limitation like this. We don't have any limitation because the storage is at our place. The only disadvantage, you need to build your graphs. Grafana graphs is very simple. You can create your own graph and all the metrics, whatever version, if you are having in M5 kind of thing, you have limited metrics, but M20, M10, you will have a metrics, whatever 10-second interval, you can capture and put it in the Prometheus database and you can create a Grafana dashboard and you can share with your team. So this is what we are doing at your end for the Atlas client. Once client onboarded to us, we enable this solution first. So performance advisor is the second one I like to cover. This is the screenshot of production so that you can see create index, drop index, improve schema. So by default, it will recommend what is the slow query and what index you can create. So you can see this performance advisor only available from M10 and automatically analyze and recommend the slow queries. You don't need to check the cardinality and you don't need to do any things, it will automatically do. So one important point I like to say, recommend up to 20 query shapes, not queries, query shapes from all the collection. You can have 100 collection, 1000 collection, it don't bother. It take tops 20 query shapes, slow queries, not queries. Query shape, slow query, and recommend that. And very beauty, it won't give any impact on your production database. When doing analysis, running explain plan, you don't feel any performance issue. So this is the example, you see query shape one. So the beauty of this is, it will tell execution count, average execution time, query targeting, doc examine, everything. So you will get the data over there. So ranking system, based on this condition, it will give the ranking and recommend the perfect index. So dropping index recommendation, it's automatically analyze last 7 day unused index and it will recommend this index are not used for last 7 days, you can drop. Anyone can tell why we need to use, why we need to drop the unused index? Cool. When you are having more indexes, first it will read will be the problem. Sorry, write will be the problem. Read also problem. Anyone can answer how the read will be the problem? Yeah, it will come to the memory. Whenever Mongo start, any database, it will start capturing the index into the memory buffer. And eviction also happen, I agree. You guys, I'm very much interested in the optimizer. Sometimes optimizer choose wrong index also. Sometimes that guy will come and screw your whole query. So that problem also come arise. So I told all this thing. You can see this is the command to improvise your capturing slow queries. And MongoDB have a wonderful solution. You can push your all logs to the S3 directly. You can use the solution what they are having. And query performance and limitation, particularly you cannot see the newer operation won't display more than 24 hours. So that they recommend to push your slow queries to the S3 bucket. So this is the method you guys know, right? Anyone have aware of Brendan Gregg? Brendan Gregg is my one of guru. You guys know the system performance book which was wrote by him. It's very wonderful book. The background of the book is, you guys are very familiar with EPBF. EPBF is wonderful kernel solution. He is the one of the key contributor of EPBF. So he talk about performance troubleshooting methodology more in the forums. So I created one for specifically Atlas, is called precision isolation method for CPU utilization for everything. When I created this method is combining of scientific method and isolation forest. Isolation forest is the algorithm of anomaly detection. So we have, whenever we are doing troubleshooting, you guys know, right? As I told, when you are troubleshooting something in Atlas kind of environment, you have limited data. Correct? You guys are agree with. So I have some experience. I cannot expect my team member to view the same visualization. So I created this one. When you receive CPU utilization alert, define the problem. Identify high CPU usage symptom, establish the baseline, gather the data, and formalize hypothesis. People always tell don't do hypothesis in the troubleshooting. But I always tell, you have a learning experience, create list of hypotheses. Because if you don't assume what is happening behind, then you cannot get the granular data. Once the isolation forest is happened, you need to check all these matrices like real-time performance panel, query performance analysis, use all this panel and identify the issue. If you are not able to identify the issue, refine the isolation forest. That means you need to You need to choose next hypothesis one. So you need to do this, and this whole things will come to a solution. So very simple and straightforward. Whenever issue happen, collect the data. Why CPU got spike? Once you collect the data, someone tell IO is spike. IO spike, okay, some write will be happen. That is the hypothesis. Read is heavy, maybe unoptimized query may be created this one. That is hypothesis. So you have two hypotheses. Once the data is collected, with the CPU utilization, you cannot do anything. You need to collect the relevant data. You need to create the hypothesis. From the hypothesis, you have multiple forests. Hypothesis 1, hypothesis 2, hypothesis 3. Then you need to go one by one in the ground and you need to find the solution. This is the idea. In MyDBOps, we have our own solution built in Grafana. Our team no need to capture any data, it automatically populated, and they will tell this may be the spike and everything. That's it. Thanks.
Hey, thanks for joining us for this insightful session from Mydbops Open Source Database Meetup 15. We hope you found Manosh Malai's presentation on mastering MongoDB Atlas valuable. Stay connected with us by subscribing to our channel for more informative content. We invite you to join us at our next event to continue learning and networking with professionals in the field of open source database management.